So take us through this fight camp and fight week and kind of how it differed and what you learned and just overall.
For sure. The camp was good, man. I felt like it just went so fast.
Yeah.
Like the last camp, I think that it felt very, not slow in like a bad way, but like slow in a methodical, planned out way that, and then I feel like this camp, I got to the end of it and I was like, how was that a whole camp?
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. That didn't seem like very much. And maybe like rushed us a little bit, which is weird because it wasn't like it was
shorter.
No, it wasn't like a quick turnaround for my last fight or anything, but I did feel like by the end of the camp, I was like, wow, that was really fast. But yeah, I mean, I think that, there's always stuff that, there's always challenges and things to like kind of work on and things, that you're trying to develop and get better at and improve on. And, I think like overall I did get a lot better in camp. Like there was a lot of gains that I made that, I think will pay dividends down the line that maybe didn't show in the fight. And then fight week was good, man. It was very, relaxed. It was super nice. Chill. It was super chill, which in a way for me, I think is almost worse.
Yeah.
Because I like the higher pressure, like the more intense and the more attention and stuff like that. Like I always compete better in those situations. Yeah. And so, but yeah, I mean, overall, like I think that I look back on it and the result wasn't what I wanted. And I would have changed a few things, like knowing that and done a few things differently. But I think that I did my best with the information that I had at the time. And you can only just look back on that and I, make adjustments and, do things differently and improve. And I feel like really grateful for all the people that, helped me and want to support me. And I felt like something that I noticed that was really cool that I didn't expect is pretty much all the same people that text me after the fight when I win, or it was the same people that text me after this fight.
That's
like,
sweet.
it wasn't like, oh, I get 100 texts and now I got 20.
Yeah.
Or I get, this many people reach out and now only 10%. It was like the exact same people.
That's awesome.
It's all the same, and so that made me feel really good that I still have a lot of love and it just made me grateful for those people in my life, like real people who, of course, there are going to be people that want to like kick me when I'm down and it honestly makes me like just way more motivated. Like I feel really, really motivated, excited. All the biggest jumps and improvements in my career, my life, I've made after a loss. And I think that that's just part of my path. And I talked to Chris about it and stuff. And for me, this phase of my life that I'm in right now is just like trial and error, like figuring stuff out. And yeah, it sucks. Like it definitely doesn't like feel good to lose. But I think that I've experienced that so many times before that the bounce back now is even quicker.
Yeah.
And I feel good and I'm just excited and it doesn't change, you said this, but it doesn't change the goal. It just, God had a different plan for me than what I had for myself. And that's for my best interest at the end of the day.
For sure. Yeah, it helps. I can't imagine. You see some guys and girls in the past where this might be their first athletic pursuit. Yeah. And they're like on a really strong run and then they have this like big trial and it breaks them. Yeah. And so the benefit for you and people, who've experienced the actual highs and lows of athletics, it's like, this is just part of the game. And that's what, that was my response to a lot of people is like, it's part of the game. Like, and it's also part of life. Like
you don't have wins without losses.
Yeah. People are like, oh, like what's he going to do? I'm like, what do you think he's going to do? Yeah. Just get back up. It's life. It's
I'm not going to quit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what you expect. Like, I didn't die.
Yeah.
Like, I was, some people were so sad about it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Like, I got beat in a fight.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like now we adjust and get better. And I feel like for me, it does suck. Like I'm not gonna diminish like the pain. It does suck, but I feel like I've lived athletically. I've lived like 5 lifetimes athletically. I look at like elementary school, middle school, like experiencing that, because people don't really realize like how committed I was to the sport and to wrestling, like from pretty much like 8 years old on. Like, I don't really feel like there was anybody. Maybe there was a few guys in the country or in the world, but there was nobody that I knew of that was as into it as me as a kid. Like, that was all I wanted to do, and it wasn't just like a dream. It was like, I'm making this happen. Like, you can ask anybody that I was around at that point. That was like it for me as a young kid. And then getting into high school, that was like another lifetime of, 4 or 5 years of competing. I competed in high school varsity wrestling for 5 years. So in the 8th grade through my senior year. So that was like its own lifetime. And then getting into college was like, another 5 years of highs and lows and its own lifetime. And then post-college, that a short stint through that of like trying to make the Olympic team. And so that was, another massive like growth point in my life. And I look at all those kind of periods of highs and lows, and it's like, this isn't anything new for me. This is just a repeat of that over again. Yeah. And I always continued to grow and improve and get better because I love it and I'm committed to it. And I think that my belief in myself is stronger than ever now. And I just feel, again, the main emotion that I've had since the fight has been gratitude of,
that's amazing.
All that I've been given, all the people that have poured into me. And it just makes me want to just do better and better and, get the most out of myself.
I heard this quote today while I was scrolling on social media, and it says, if you're grateful for your life, you have to be grateful for all of it, the highs and the lows. You just can't be grateful for the top if you can't be grateful for when you hit the bottom. And I think that you've had people won't say it's a pleasure, but it is a pleasure of like facing a loss before and knowing how to deal with it and understanding that, all right, how to cope with those emotions. And I think that, like you were saying, with these different lifetimes that you've had in different elements of your life, it helps a lot with coping with the loss, because it's different if other people in MMA that just have fought their entire lives and then they could be 2 fights away from the belt, they lose, and then like they don't know how to deal with it. And that's a whole nother scenario that like it's very fortunate how your life has played out so far, and it's like God meant to put you in this situation that you are in now, and that's like
totally no, I totally agree. You have to be grateful for the highs and the lows, and because you don't have the highs without the lows. It's just life. And I feel like what you said is totally accurate, where I look at this as like an opportunity. Like this is a great opportunity for me to like meet this adversity head on, right? Like I think that I'm excited by it. Basically, like I'm like, all right, well, this is the first adversity you've hit really in your whole fighting career. Everything else has been smooth sailing and relatively easy. And how are you going to respond to this? And for me, I don't have a question in my mind like how I'm going to respond to it. I'm not like, oh man, well, like it's time to figure out what type of person you are. Like I already forged that for 20 plus years, and I think that it's just exciting now to really get to like test myself and really, double down on everything that I've already learned. And yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. And I mean, you've been in the midst of it, but the journey has been insane. If you just take a step back,
for sure.
You fought 2 amateur fights, right?
So I started my first fight that I ever had was at the end of 2021. I had 2 amateur fights in 2021. Then I made my pro debut in June of 2022. So I've been fighting just under 3 years professionally, right? Like, I mean, we've had, in just under 3 years, we've had 8 pro fights, a lot of good moments. And, I mean, I can't imagine where we're going to be 3 years from now, right? Yeah. 3 years from now, I'm going to be 32.
Yeah.
And,
in your prime.
In my prime, right? Like I got 3... I'll just be scratching the prime. Yeah. And with advances in modern science and my high level of income, it ain't crazy to think I could hit my prime maybe 65, 70, like if we're being honest here, you know? So I got some years to go.
Yeah, and 7 fights went pretty
easy.
Ideal.
Yeah. I didn't even get hit really.
Yeah, which
7
was
fights.
Insane.
Yeah.
To ride that high. And I think after... you fought Paul Craig last fight, which was a huge step up.
Massive step up.
Yeah, that kind of set you on a different level.
It did, yeah.
And unfortunately with the UFC, you can't really go backwards.
Not unless you lose.
Yeah.
If you're winning, you're going up, right? And that's the way it was.
Yeah, and they wanted to match you up with guys even higher caliber.
I'm not even gonna say it, but the matchups that they brought me at first were
crazy.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I think that DeRitter is probably a little underrated as well.
For sure.
I think I won't say I took him lightly, because in my mind I was like, this is the biggest test of my life.
Yeah.
But I think even given that, I'm like, I think he's probably better than a lot of guys in the top 10 and some guys in the top 5. Like, he's good.
Sure.
He's a really, really good guy.
Yeah.
Good fighter.
Yeah. No, he's like on his come up to his progress towards the top. So
for sure.
He's he's definitely tough. And
respect to him. Like, it was a good challenge for me, and I look at it as nothing but a learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was big. He was big as hell.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual fight, what kind of thoughts do you have, like immediate lessons right after the fight and now looking back?
Dude, honestly, like, it sounds dumb to say, but I do think I fought pretty poorly. Like, I didn't fight well. I feel like there was no reason for me to be in the situations that I was in the fight, in the positions that I was in the fight that early. Like, given my skill set and his skill set, like, I should have been way further out of range, moving, testing things out before getting into like his number one positions, like, right away. So I think the whole fight was kind of in his wheelhouse, and you can't do that, right? Like, you can't do that with the best guys in the world. I think it exposed a lot of areas that I need work in, and that to me just has to do with experience, like not being in there with guys who, I have 7 fights. Like, it's just hard to like simulate that in training. And so I feel like this fight was a massive growing opportunity for me, where I just see what not to do, like how to game plan, how to strategize. I didn't have like a good idea of what I wanted to do going into the fight. I don't think I was as clear as I normally am, for whatever reason. But yeah, I do feel like pretty much everything went his way. And some people were saying that like the first round looked pretty good until I jumped the guillotine and got reversed, like that I was doing well. I didn't feel like it at all. Like, I was like, the whole fight pretty much, I was like, this is kind of going his way. That's what it felt like to me. And, so maybe if I go back and watch it, like, I can see like maybe a couple things I did well.
Yeah.
But overall, like, in my mind, I don't really look at I look at that as like what not to do. There was really not a lot of like, oh, like, that was good. It was mostly like, that was not good.
Got it.
That's how I feel about it, at least.
I mean, I'm obviously biased, but I thought you won the first round, even getting reversed.
Right.
Because I thought that you were winning the striking battle and controlling him. He landed a few body shots early.
Right.
But then when you took him down and you were on top of him for a good, like, he reversed you with like, from what my memory,
1:30.
Yeah, like that's what I remember.
He held me till about 20 seconds.
And had no active submission attempts or anything like that. So I thought you won it, but it was definitely close. I wasn't like feeling nervous at that point.
Well, we can go see the judges' scorecards.
Yeah.
So everyone it was 10-9 to Ritter.
Yeah.
First round.
It was close round,
I can
but
see that.
It was like, I thought, again, in my opinion, I look back on how I felt the whole time, and I was like, I was not feeling good. I was like, I lost this. Maybe not I lost it, like, I was just like, this isn't going well.
Yeah. I mean, a close round, first round is not good either way. So in your mind, you're like, you're going to lean towards.
I didn't think it was close, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't even thinking about the scorecards. I was like, this is not going well for me.
Got it.
That was my main thought. And I went and watched the one replay that I did see was when I jumped the guillotine.
Yeah.
Bro, I was so close to sweeping him. Like his toes caught the fence. And I was like, son of a gun, man. Like I would have ended up in mount there.
Yeah.
But it was literally an inch.
Yeah, the fence.
Otherwise I would have been in mount.
Yeah.
And it was I think that looking back on that situation, I got super impatient. Because it was almost like I wasn't feeling good. I was like, all right, this isn't good. He was hitting me in the body a lot. I took him down and, was on top of him. And I'm like, all right, I feel a little better here. But I'm still like, my energy was kind of dropping. And we got to front headlock. And it was like panic, to be honest, like the way I did it. That wasn't even like my good side. Like that's my worst side for guillotine.
Got it.
Excuse me. And it was more of just like a panic than it was like a, set it up, feel good. I was like more of it wasn't, looking back, it was a bad decision. And so, and it almost worked out, but I do, overall, like I look at that again, as an example, a lot of the decisions that I made as what not to do.
Yeah.
Like, all right, well, I know not to do this, not to do this, not to do this. Like that's pretty much the way I look at it.
It's so valuable too, because like you said, that those situations rarely, if ever, especially the body shots, like you don't ever feel that in training. And him coming in with, 21 fights, his first fight in 2013, like that's something that he's learned over the course of over a decade.
Yeah. I barely even, he didn't hit me in the head really at all.
Yeah.
The body shots are what did all the damage. And it was just accumulation over the first round. Like he landed a few good knees in the clinch on the first round and I was like feeling them. I was like, I didn't show it, but I was like, wow, that's not good.
Yeah.
Like that's taking a lot out of me. And then at one point he punched me about 8 times in a row and, it was right in my liver and I was like, these are taxing. Like these are not, I'm maybe like wearing it fine. Like I don't look like but it was like, it was wearing me down.
Got it.
The energy. And then, obviously the way that ended, the final shot was it was a hard shot. But I felt like the damage was already done.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that did it. It was the damage was already done leading up to it. And I think that, in that situation, he had hit me a couple more times. And instead of like just getting my feet back underneath me, my breath back, getting my liver back to, recovered a little bit and moving around, and I just like went right back in at him. And I was like, all right, like I guess I got to try to knock this guy out because this isn't going good. When reality is like I needed to move around more, needed to maybe potentially take him down. Like when I tried to take him down, I took him down.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he could stop me from doing that. But I do think, again, I'll watch that fight back at some point, but I look at it as just a blueprint of what not to do. So that's a massive plus because I can't look at it and say like, well, I did everything I could and he got me. It was like I did my effort wise, but the mistakes that I made were like just so obvious to me.
And fixable,
obvious mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think he's a great guy. So it was like, he's a great opponent. So he forced me into those mistakes and I didn't correct. I didn't adjust. Right. And that's what you have to do if you want to be the best in the world. You're going to hit adversity and somebody's going to come at you with their best stuff and you have to be able to adjust. And I think that's one thing that I didn't do. I didn't adjust in the fight.
What's the first time you ever made like a big mistake in this sport? If you think about it against like Paul
everything
Craig.
else has gone very easy. Yeah, been very, smooth.
Yeah. Well, even if if we look back at like Cody Brundage, like, there was no mistake that was in that fight.
I never felt in danger in that fight.
Yeah, that led to anything.
I haven't felt in danger in a fight at all. Never once was I like, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not a good situation. This is the first fight that I've really felt like I'm not in trouble.
Yeah.
Like this is not good.
So now you feel that again, you're like, okay, let me create space. Let me do this. Let me
make adjustments. Yeah. Figure stuff out. Been here before. Yeah. And I'm happy. I'm happy that it's gone the way it is. I think that earlier in my career as an athlete, these losses like this have really crushed me, like bad. Depression type stuff. And I don't feel that way at all with this one. I feel like motivated more than anything. I'm excited to get back and compete again, and show what I'm about. Like, this isn't even close to the end for me. This is the beginning, and that's exciting.
Yeah. It shows so much of your maturity too, because those other losses have definitely been, in preparation for something like this, where it's on an even bigger stage.
Right.
And so for me, I was like, I almost drove over the cage.
Yeah.
And just after, I was just wanting to make sure that you're good, because you never know, you never know how that's going to affect you with all the pressure that you have, being on the biggest stages and everybody expecting you to be perfect. And so I think it's another time that I'm super impressed and just inspired by how you're dealing with it, and so mature and so just self-aware of, okay, this is not who I am. This is just what I do.
Right.
And I'm going to learn from it and get right back to it. And anything other than that is just a temptation to give into, the devil and what everybody else is expecting, which is just go in a hole and don't talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you. I appreciate that. I wouldn't be able to react this way and really genuinely feel this way if it wasn't for all the great people around me, my coaches, my dad, all the people I look up to, Chris, Coach Cal, guys, Mike Brown, guys that like I truly respect a lot. And I feel like I have so many guys like that I want to be like, and that have just been great examples for me. And, Coach Kale, it's just really like, when you come to a situation like this in your life where you're put through adversity, what's going to come out is what you've practiced and made habit and made your character. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's just all the great leaders and the great men that I've been able to be around and share time with. And so, that's what comes out. And I think more than anything, every single guy that I mentioned has an incredibly strong faith. And that's the foundation of it all. And all of my emotions and feelings and responses, there's worldly temptation that gets in there, but I think that because of, having gone through a lot and gone through many wins and many losses in my life, having amazing people around me that have been there with me through and through, who are grounded in their faith, that just rubs off on me. And now, given the situation, it's like, it's not even really a choice. It's not like, I'm going to now choose to either be grounded or to, succumb to the pressures of the world. It's like the decision's already been made. And I think that God has put me on this path and put these people in my life with great intention. And, he wouldn't put this in front of me if it was too big for him. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's who I'm leaning on at the end of the day. Right. Like, there's kind of a trickle down effect of like myself, my support system with, you and my friends and my family and coaches and leaders. And then beneath that is like the real foundation that is God, that is Christ. And so I feel like that's holding everything up. Right. Mm-hmm. And I guess, you mentioned that you wanted to make sure I was good. My main concern after the fight was making sure everybody else was good. I was like, guys, I'm good. Like, I want to make sure you guys are good, mm-hmm. because that's not fun to see. Yeah. Like, I know just being on the coaching side, seeing that from a friend, mm-hmm. that had to be really hard. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I'm good. Are y'all good? Like we're all in this together, mm-hmm. and it's okay. This is not it's not like, this was a setback, but mm-hmm. That's all it is. Yeah. It's not this ship isn't sinking, mm-hmm. It's just, we got a little water in the ship. No worries. It's part of life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's helpful for, life just goes on. Like the next day, we do very similar things after, having deep conversations, and
exactly.
The next day I'm like, we're in church and everyone's doing their own thing. I'm like, everyone's just back to their normal life. It's part of life, and this is your trial, and we're all part of it, and we can all learn something from it. But at the end of the day, it's like, there's so much more important things, and our relationship with God and each other, and everything's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll say this too, like for me, it's been very interesting. And I've said this way before I lost, that my goal in fighting was I never wanted to be an undefeated UFC champion. Like I never said that. I've said, you can go look back and clip out interviews and stuff like that my goal has never been to be undefeated. You know, like I was totally aware that losses were very, very possible and likely. And that's the reality of how I roll. Like I challenge myself, and I probably challenge myself more than I should. You know, like there's an easier way to go about this than what I'm doing, but I don't feel like that's the way that God is leading me. And so I'm just leaning into that, and the goal isn't any different. Like I just want to continue to get better and improve, and I want to find out how good I can be. And really it's leaning on God's plan for me more so than my own, because if I'm just, you know, following my own path that I'm setting out and leaning on my own understanding, right, that's going to only get so much out of myself. You know, that's a way to, you know, find destruction. You know, it's not a way to find your true potential. And so for me, it's like, hey, I'm 100% happy and grateful and excited about this new path that's maybe a little different than what I expected, because I think that that's the way I'm going to get the most out of myself and make the most impact and help more people. Like people can't relate to the undefeated, infallible champion. Yeah. Like it's not really perfect. A relatable thing, you know, but people can relate to the guy who has taken losses and lost and come back and lost and come back. And, you know, there's something inspiring about that. And I think that, you know, I don't want to be known as the guy that is like losing and has to always come back from that. Like, I don't think that's my path either. But I think that part of that is good for the people around me and the people that see me. And for me, like I need to for sure feel those moments and feel that things not go my way.
Yeah. God's like, we'll give you everything that you want. Right. But let's just add a little bit of a dose here, make you a little more relatable, you know, put your perspective in check here. And so it doesn't change the ultimate goal. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it sucks, but it's beneficial for what truly matters, which is having the impact, and then also, you know, having the humility and awareness of who you're trying to become and what you're trying to do and what impact that's going to have on so many people.
100%. And I think that it's a way for God. Maybe I'm not like completely veered off in the wrong direction, but it's a way that God can kind of tilt you back, right? Yeah. Like, you know, and I try to stay as in tune with him as I can through scripture, through prayer, through church, through conversations with people that I love and trust. But still, I think that God doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't put you through stuff without reason. And so I think that the path that I would been on, this is a little redirect into, you know, the path that he has for me. And that can't be doubted. And we know that it's good. We can trust that. And I think that, I'm grateful for it, right? Like it's, you know, I look at my son now, I think that I was talking with my father-in-law about this, and you really can relate so much more to God when you have a kid, because that's the relationship, you know, father and child. And like, I look at my son, and how often does he do something that, you know, I got to swat his hand, or I got to, you know, move him away from something, or he's trying to pick up a piece of dog poop, and I'm like, that's gross, don't do that, you know? But that's where I think that it's the same thing for us, and you know, we're just getting, you know, redirected a little bit back onto the path that we're supposed to be on to get the most out of ourselves.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ilya talked about that too. It's like the path that you have designed for yourself might be the path that destroys you, but the path that God has is the path to enlighten you. And I think that sometimes you get really carried away in your own ambition, and you forget that like, oh, this isn't really like, this isn't up to me. Like this is up to God. And I think that having that realization, I know that it's not like this is a come to Jesus moment that you've had currently after this fight, but it's something that, it's definitely a reminder to see where you are on the path and realize that it's not up to you. It's really up to God.
Totally. Yeah. It's a total, reassurance that I'm not in control of everything. And, I think that we all want to be, right? We all want to be in control of our own destiny. And I think that for me, there's a lot of peace in letting go of that, because I naturally want to control every little thing and, work really hard and be a perfectionist. But when you can let go of that, there's a lot of freedom, I think. Right. And I'm grateful for that. Like, again, the most profound emotion of this entire past few days has been gratitude for me. And yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Also, DeRitter was a very admirable opponent. He had nothing nothing bad to say afterwards either. Like, it was all in good faith. He said the thing that a lot of people have said in the past. It's like, I'm happy I fought you now rather than 3 years from now.
Yeah. So he said, I don't know that he said that in public, but he said that to me in the ring. He was like, yeah, I'm just glad I didn't fight you 3 years from now. And I was like, yeah, man, well, I'm glad that you fought me now, because I just get to use this as a learning opportunity and get better. And he was class act. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, he's a little bit older, but I think that, you never know. Maybe we rematch at some point. Mm-hmm. So I would love that. And I just want to compete against the best. So I think that, our paths crossed once, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, but yeah, he's a good guy. UFC 315 is almost here, and this card is absolutely stacked. We've got 2 massive title fights, Muhammad versus Della Maddalena and Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. These are going to be all-out wars, and I've got just one question for you. Are your bets in? If not, don't stress. DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. They're the official sports betting partner of the UFC and the best place to get action. And listen, if you're brand new to DraftKings, this is the time to jump in. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. That's not a typo. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets to use however you want. You could throw something on one of the title fights, build a parlay, or just take a shot on a dog. However you like to play it, DraftKings makes it easy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BO. That's code BO, B-O, for new customers to score $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Now back to the show.
So what are you thinking? It's so soon after. What are you thinking in terms of like the rest of the year, fight schedule? You want to get more experience? Do you want to train more?
I haven't really decided yet. My initial reaction was like, I want to go right away. Mm-hmm. Like, let's go. Get me back in there like immediately, which is just the competitor in me, right? Yeah. So I have to balance that with being smart and strategic and figuring out what's actually best. I think that, we all saw this fight and this last fight, and you could tell like those guys are definitely like a size up relative to me. They're quite a bit bigger, and it's just physics and biomechanics at that point. Like that makes a difference. I don't think that that's why I lost the fight, right? Like, but I think that that'll do me some good to put on some size. So bulk up season, baby. We're going back on the bulk. Gonna get a few extra lifts in, get big. Yeah. And then, other than that, like, I just want to keep getting better at fighting. And I think there's a lot of different ways that I can do that, and a lot of different things that people that I can go to improve. And my natural instinct is to get back in there right away, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm focused on the bulk up, and I'm definitely going to get another fight by the end of the year. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I'll fight again in 2025. When will it be? Not entirely sure, but I'm not like, I don't feel like I have to compete like right away if it doesn't make sense.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But I'm excited to just, hang out with, my people and my wife and baby boy, and got another on the way in August. So due date coming soon. Got a few more months till we have 2, which is going to be crazy. And, I'm just grateful for the people in my life. That's like, it's been really, really cool and really special. And I want to reiterate like how much support I've gotten from people like over the last few days, like honestly more than the wins.
Wow.
Which is crazy. I didn't expect that. It was like, so many people texted me, like all the same people that always text me congratulations. They're all saying the same, that they believe in me. And I think that it's interesting, right? Like, I feel like most of the time people are like, I want to prove everyone wrong. Or like, you hear, how many stories do you hear of like the kid who told their school teacher that they were going to be an astronaut and they get laughed at, or their teacher tells them like, no, you're not. Like, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I never had that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when I was in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, like I told my school teachers I was going to be an Olympic wrestler or a national champion wrestler. And they were probably, and I maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I feel like they were like, yeah, you are. Like, I think you are.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel.
Like 200-0 at that point.
Maybe, yeah. They're like, your dad has you miss 2 days a week, every week of school. You go to more wrestling than school, so you probably will be. Yeah. No, but I feel like now all the people that I'm talking to, that I just like have a lot of support and like energy that's sent my way, where people believe in me. Like I already have, obviously my own belief that is ironclad, but I feel like the belief surrounding me in a very strong way from a lot of others, which again, I don't know that that's very typical. So I'm really, really, really like especially grateful for that.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. It's amazing. It means you have the right people in your field and you're connecting with the right individuals that don't just disappear when things aren't going their way.
Yeah. It definitely feels good to have that. Like, that's not a normal life experience, I don't think. So really, really grateful. I can't, express how grateful I am for that.
Yeah. It's one thing, like when you logistically step back and look at things, when you look at that fight, it's like, how does this make sense? But there was never a doubt, and I don't think anyone in the house's mind that you were going to like win that fight. And I think that's, like you said, super important to not only surround. Chris talked about it's like it's not just your energy; it's everyone's energy collectively that make an impact. And
what's crazy to me too is walking out of the ring. The people in the crowd, they didn't even care. They were like, all wanted a picture and autograph.
Yeah,
it's the
same thing.
And I was like, you guys know I just got like whipped. Like,
they
were just like, Bo, sign this picture. We love you. You're the best. And I'm like, wait, I lost. Like I was just shocked. I mean, obviously the crowd, there was a big pop. Like they were, I don't know the main event, but it seemed like I got the biggest pop the whole night.
Oh yeah. It was pretty quiet after the fight.
People were sad.
No, but like it did, like so they were. So usually in like New York City or whatever, there'd be like cheers and stuff if you lost. Like people just going crazy, like doing their own like whatever weird thing. But the Iowa fans were like a big fan of you, so it was kind of chill.
Which that meant a lot to me, you know, especially just like all the history of Iowa, this or that. I've said things, and I'm like, at the end of the day, it's all love, and I felt that this week, bro. Like for sure, I was like, dang, like there's a lot of love here, like Midwest, just good people. I said that in a lot of interviews where I was like, this is like my type of people around here, and even though we competed against each other in college or anything, I felt a ton of love. And like I said, man, after the fight, I just wanted to, get out of there and just kind of cool down. And on the way out, there was hundreds of people like swarming the edge of, let me get a picture, autograph, we love you. And I'm just like, dang, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You just don't, those are things you don't expect. Like it's just, it's cool. It's cool to feel that, love, even when, I'm in a low moment.
Yeah.
And for me, I just want to give it back. Like, when I feel that, like, there was no option in my mind, like, oh, I'm just going to run back. It was like, I'm going to stay out here and like be with the people because, if they're going to love me and cheer me on despite the result, then, I'm going to give them my time just the same. And it means a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to, like, for my losses, I always felt like other people's perception of me changed drastically.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but
it should at least.
It doesn't though. Like
It doesn't.
when you're on the other side of it, you're just like, you see it in the exact same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's how other people see you.
Right.
The exact same way. And so like nothing changes. They're still like nervous to ask you for a picture because it's still Bo Nickal. Like so that was a lesson for me too, is like stop seeing people's perception of me through my perception of like, oh, they're probably like they probably think I suck, or like, oh, I lost this match, or I got hurt, or whatever. In reality, they're just thinking about themselves, and they're like, I just want a picture with this guy because he's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to see things from other people's point of view, in a lot of different ways, but especially that's just a unique situation.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often. But I think that it really is just, being your own biggest critic, and which can help, but it can also be very damaging, if you don't give yourself grace in certain ways. And I think that this past weekend was a good reminder for me in that, like, not to get too high with the highs and too low with the lows. It's, it's all on God's timing. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. It's just crazy the fact that you became the most popular fighter in the UFC. And literally off a loss, dude, I was shocked by like the amount of people, good or bad, that like the posting that went out, and I was looking like, how is this even possible? Like
there was a lot.
Oh yeah. Really? Yeah.
Positive and negative.
Positive and negative.
Wow.
Both ways. But it's just like the sheer amount, like that off of a random fight night in the middle of Iowa, you became the UFC's #1 fighter for about
a day
and a half, 2 days.
Yeah. Regardless, people want to watch.
Yeah.
People want to watch, man. Yeah. But actually, you know what? It's honestly interesting to me. I think about the people that have, that want to say negative stuff and talk about this or that. And I think some of it, right? Like being realistic, some of it I get. I'm like, I've said a lot of things that were really brash and confident, borderline overconfident, and extreme. But I don't really regret anything I've said, and I feel like everything I've said, I'll double down on it, and I feel strongly about that. And so that comes with the territory. If I'm going to be willing to say that type of stuff, then there's going to be backlash, and there's going to be people that don't like it, and that's fine, man. You can not like it, but
Not going to change.
It's not going to change me. Yeah. It's not going to change, my work ethic or my commitment or anything like that. And it's totally cool. Like, some people like to talk about it, and some people like to actually do it. And I'm the one that's actually doing it. And so it's all good.
And the biggest thing is it's authentic. So you being aware of, okay, maybe I didn't take the smartest cerebral route to get to the goal, but that's not who you are. No. And maybe I didn't like shut my mouth and just like be a robot and not say anything as I approach a fight, but that's not who you are. So there's nothing wrong with those things if that's genuinely who you are. It's where people run into issues when that's not who they are. For sure. And people can see through it in a second.
Yeah, and that's how I feel that from the bottom of my heart. Like, that's what I'm about, and I've been about that for a long time.
Yeah, anybody who knows you, that's who you are.
That's how I roll. Like,
and you got to respect that.
Yeah, and so, I don't really, it's interesting. People a lot of times are talking to me about like, oh, how do you deal with this? And I'm like, deal with what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like, when these people say stuff or, come at me, I'm like, dude, you realize when I was 8 years old, I got pinned at a wrestling tournament, and the kid's family made T-shirts about it.
Yeah, and you probably took that loss harder than this one.
Way harder. Yeah. Dude, like, bro, what are we talking about here? Like, you know.
It's what you were built for.
This has been my whole life for 20 years. So, you know, go ahead, say some mean stuff. Cool, dude. Literally does nothing for me. And I feel like I really, you know, again, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be in this position. I'm grateful to have the resources and the people that I have, and I just won't quit. Like, there's no quit in me until I get what I want, and it's going to be fun to just, you know, continue to pursue that with my whole heart and go after it. Like, that's what I'm on earth to do. Yeah.
Well, it's also like, what are you supposed to say? Like, no, I'm not going to beat this person that I'm going to meet 15 fights from.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they want from me. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, it's a lose-lose, because they'll either say, oh, you're too confident, you're overrated, or then if you don't say it, it's like,
oh, you're a big puss.
Yeah, I guess, right? Like, or just like, oh, like,
you're not fun to watch. You're not
fun. You're not entertaining. You're not exciting. I'm like, I just don't really care. Like, I don't really, you know, everyone's going to have opinions, and most of them are either, not very many of them are actually accurate. They're either too high or too low, and that doesn't have any bearing on my life.
Well, there's also like no other American UFC fighter that has had like this big of a following, and then randomly all of a sudden you're fighting some of the top people in the world and being on these, like, you would just have so many moments already online that they're going to look back in the archives, and if you said something awful, it's like what happened, like Joe Rogan said some stuff like 20 years ago and they called him out for it. It's the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it just, again, it has zero bearing or relevance in my day-to-day, and I'm around so many good people that it doesn't even like penetrate. It's just like, okay, like, this is not new. I have so much positive. It just drowns out any of that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really, again, it's not a big issue for me.
Yeah. So you have second baby on the way.
Yeah.
Going on the bulk. Anything else? Any fun trips you have, like, I don't know, with your best friend or something? Anything outside of fighting that you're looking forward to?
Bro, you know I'm looking forward to Montauk.
Let's go.
You know I'm in there, bro. I'm so excited for that, dude.
It's going to be dope.
We're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do, I mean, I feel like, I hate to say this, but, because I know they're going to listen to it, but Maddie and Julie are always like, you know, trying to just like hop in on our stuff, you know.
It's just,
I think we need to do a bachelor party reunion trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything that starts with bachelor party, I think, is like a clear exclusion. So
it has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense if they
just weren't there. Where were they 12 years ago?
Exactly. You know? You were in you weren't there. Well, Julie kind of was, but
yeah, actually,
like, you weren't in the trenches with us. Like,
where were you there? Where were you for the first 3 months of college?
Yeah, you weren't in that Pollock dorm. No AC, 4th floor, no elevator, riding on the pegs to practice. You know, you weren't there for that.
Yeah. You weren't there when I was carrying up all my furniture. Took 8 flights of stairs.
Yeah, yeah. Where were you when we had to, you know, do 6 a.m. lift over at Rec and hit 3 sets of versa climber, plate push, superset to finish our circuits? Where were you? You were freaking sipping a coffee.
Yeah. Sipping a mimosa with a robe on.
Sipping a mimosa with a robe. This is my life. All right? No, we need a boys trip for sure. Yeah, but
summer's coming. Summer bod.
Time to get jacked and tan, baby.
Are you hopping on the bulk too? Or are you still running?
A little bit of both. I went to my first jiu-jitsu class in a while yesterday.
Good for you.
Got absolutely smoked, dude. Which was what I was expecting.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have.
Triangle was still there. Guard was still there.
Okay.
That was what I expected.
Good.
Obviously.
If you did 225, you would have been smashing.
Oh my gosh.
No. You got to hit that.
Bro,
dude, you don't understand how
you're so close.
1000% mental. You were right there.
I called my girlfriend after, and she goes, "Why on earth would you do that?"
She doesn't get it.
I'm like, "You don't get it."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You'll never understand it. It is what it is." But I'm still recovering from that. I did chest today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Did you?
Yeah.
Bro.
Did you get it?
No. I didn't even go.
You need to try to max every day until you hit it.
Every single time you hit chest, max out.
No, I'm playing.
You'll eventually hit it.
I want to build it up a little bit, and then we'll be like when Derek bench 135.
All right. Time out.
I'll come to the wrestling room. I'll have Tony hype
Are
me
you
up
telling him what you're going to do, or are you listening at what to do?
You don't build up for that, dude. If there's a 225-pound, not a car, but if something's going to crush you to death, I think you're going to press it off of you. And you're not building up to that.
Got to do it.
That's good advice.
Look at the 6'4", 225-pound Italian next to you. And do whatever he says. Do what he says.
Oh, bro, the amount of people, like, I think it was 90% of people got trolled by that weight.
Bro, everyone.
Should we reveal
everybody?
Should we say that it was?
Guys, I wasn't 222. I've never been 222 in my life.
Some people were harping on it too. Dude. After, like, shouldn't have cut 37 pounds then.
Oh my gosh,
dude! Chael was like analyzing it to the max.
I know.
Really?
I know.
He was like, "Well, with the sweatshirt and shoes on, like it does kind of make sense."
I feel bad about that. Yeah. No, I was like 200.
That was a masterpiece. That was a masterpiece.
Oh, Ronan.
Every single person.
That nobody knew what to do.
No.
I had people coming up to me after like, "Dude, how did you cut that weight?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, I did it.
Yeah. Because I didn't.
How did I cut it? Because I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was not accurate. For those.
It was fake news. It was fake news.
Fake news.
And I'm
Who put that out?
I
didn't put it out. You did put it out. Who did it come from? It was somebody. It was a spy. It must have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been one of the Grandview coaches.
It was somebody. The original leak.
Yeah.
There was a leak.
Dude, you should. The Oscar might be coming. There might be some acting roles in play.
I'm down. Let's go.
All right, so we're gonna plan out some dope guests.
Yeah, we'll have some guests. You're leaving next week for a bit.
For a couple days.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Texas. Just have to get back to
Where at?
center. Sonora.
What for? Hunting?
Yeah. Gonna shoot an axis deer.
Nice.
Be sick.
That's dope.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
it'll
we'll
be
get
good.
we'll get some good guests. LeBron, if you're listening, you're not welcome.
Jordan. Not a big LeBron guy.
Yeah.
Heard he voted for Kamala, so
Did he?
nah, probably though.
Yeah, that's wild.
Boo.
I liked our quarterback Jalen Hurts for the Eagles until he said he wasn't going to visit the White House.
Really?
Yeah, what
Hurts?
a loser! What a loser, man.
Did he really say that?
Well, he didn't actually. He was smart. He didn't answer the question if he was going or not. So
That's
we'll
shocking.
See. We're up to
That's weird.
yeah.
He probably's going.
He's got to go.
Yeah, I feel like he's going. He just doesn't.
Yeah,
want to be,
he's
too
the man.
brash
He's
about
gonna
it.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's got to go.
Yeah, he's gonna go.
Yeah. Any big guests that we want on?
Yeah, who do we want?
We should have some like meathead come on and talk about Vulcan.
Yeah, we'll have.
That'd be good.
We should get Mike Israetel.
No, I don't want this guy, bro.
Dude,
Let's get I don't even know any meatheads.
he's a big meathead. Like big C-Bum, if you're out there, welcome to come on the
I was thinking
show.
Sam Sulik.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
good guy.
He seems
Welcome
cool.
to come on the show, Sam. Big fan. I mean, should we just get like Ronnie Coleman while we're at it?
That's Tony's favorite.
Yeah, that's first.
He was his number one.
Really?
I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Do we know anyone like absolutely Oh, Eddie Hall would be a good one.
He just had his MMA fight.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah, he won.
Yeah.
Crushed that guy.
He was also like 60 pounds less than him.
Yeah,
He was like
crazy.
I feel like he would come
320,
on.
Eddie Hall was 320.
something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. We'll get the guests going again.
Yeah, we'll get some guests.
If there's anyone that you guys are interested in,
Yeah, comment who you want to see.
yeah,
that'd be helpful.
that'd be very helpful, especially with our management team. Tim always kills
We'll
it.
get right on it.
Yeah.
All right, for dragging on. Love you guys.
Love you. See ya.